What's up, guys? We are Slytherin, and welcome to our podcast. This is Slytherin Talks, and now we have 10 situational questions that we answer by each of us. And this is the first question, answered by me. The question is: consider a new student entering the university environment. Describe how the process of relationship development unfold through the lens of social penetration theory, focusing on how self-disclosure plays a role in building trust and this new relationship. My answer is uh, if a new student begins university, they meet people first. They exchange basic information like names, hometown, and possible their majors. That is the low risk self disclosure which promote basic trust. As a couple grow to know each other and feel more easy, they begin feel reveal more, like personal information, hobbies and interests, and perhaps even fear or anxieties. They share they share more and more, like peeling the layers of an onion, getting to know each other deeper and deeper. And this increased self-disclosure foster closeness and strengths. Partnership. Uh, it's a progress process of revealing more of themselves in order to form deeper connection. Finally, this how uh, this how closeness developments. It is not a race but a long process. For question number 2, imagine you are a foreign exchange student in a new country. Discuss how uncertainty reduction theory would explain the strategy you might use to reduce uncertainty in your interaction with locals and how development of your relationship. Okay, being a foreign exchange student in a new country is, well, it's a lot. You're constantly trying to figure things out, like what are the social norm, what are the social norm is, and how do people talk to each other. That's basically what uncertainty reduction theory describes. How we naturally try to reduce uncertainty in a new situation. For me, it is start it is start is it is started with just watching and observing how people they interact, what they did and what they didn't do. Then ask a question, maybe look things up online, do some research, and eventually I just started talking to people, and that that things got easier. The more I understood, the more I comfortable I felt, and the easier it became to make friends. It's all about getting a feels for the place and finding my way around. And this is my answer for number 2.
For my question number 3, communication accommodation theory. Communication accommodation theory can be utilized in a multicultural workplace by adapting to others' communications styles such as paying attention to their tones and nonverbal cues. And for positive accommodation, this theory results to positive accommodation by learning cultural awareness and develop stronger relationships and mutual respect. And for negative accommodation, when for negative side, this might create stereotypes and misunderstanding because of cultural and language barriers. To deal with that, use simple language and don't use any jargon words and always be straightforward and patient to communicate effectively.
For question number 4, considering a business meeting between manager from United States and the client from Japan, using half-steve cultural dimension theory. Analyze how cultural differences such as individualism versus collectivism and the power distance might impact the communication dynamic in this meeting. Oh, for my answer is the United States is all about the individual. People express their opinions and make judgment rapidly. On other hand, Japan values group work and respect those in position of authority. In a meeting, this could cause a lot of misunderstandings. The Japanese person may be more courteous and take longer to make a decision, whereas the American may be direct and quick. The Japanese individual may be perceived by American as being hesitant or slow. The American may be perceived by the Japanese as being overbearing or impolite to prevent issues and collaborate effectively. Uh, it is critical that all parties comprehend these distinctions.
Question number 5. This will influence young people because they will understand the importance of different language in different cultural settings. For number 6, question. The Tower of Babel serves as power implication of language diversities. It reflects societal concerns about language fragmentation, challenges of cross-cultural communication, and social cohesion in our world.
For question number 7, discuss the implication of the proto-word theory on our understanding of early human communication. How might this theory help explain the emergence of complex language systems in prehistoric human societies, and what challenges do linguists face in studying such origins? However, studying proto-word is difficult because language leaves no physical evidence and it dates back to far to reconstruct accurately. Experts also debate whether language had one origin or developed in multiple places. While the theory is intriguing, it remains unproven, and researchers continue exploring language evolution through history, genetics, and anthropology. The eighth question, evaluate Noam Chomsky theory of universal grammar in the context of multilingualism. How does this theory support or challenge the idea that all humans share an inherent capacity for language acquisition, regardless of the languages they are exposed to? Noam Chomsky universal grammar theory suggests that all humans are born with an innate ability to learn language, making it easier for children to acquire multiple languages naturally. This theory explains why young learners can pick up languages quickly and why many languages share common structures. However, faces challenge in the context of multilingualism, the vast difference between languages, the role of social interaction and exposure, and the difficult adult phase in learning new languages suggests that language acquisition is influenced by more than just an inborn grammar system. While provides a useful framework, real-world multilingualism show that learning is a combination of natural ability and environment factors.
So let's talk about the number 9 question. So this question talks about the uncertainty reduction theory, where it suggests that when two people meet for the first time, they would feel uncertain about each other, and this feeling motivates them to know more about each other to reduce it. And when applying this to an online dating scenario, this can be applied through their getting to know each other face when they would message or call each other to ask questions about their personal beings. Through this, they would disclose personal informations to each other, such as their age, their hobbies, and their career, etc. And this conversation can directly impact their decision to meet each other in person, because this disclosure, the individuals are more likely to know each other, to know the other person intentions, attitude, and also their compatibility. Okay, question number 10. So this question talks about communication accommodation theory by Howard Childs. So this theory suggests that people change their communication styles, whether through speech, tones, or nonverbal cues, based on their context or their desire to converge or diverge from others in a conversation. And this can explain how a French tourist in an English-speaking country might or should adjust their speech to fit in with the locals, converging through simpler language such as altering their French accents or learning local phrases or gestures that can help them facilitate a smoother conversation. However, if that tourist desires to maintain their French identity as part of their culture, it will be a little harder on them to converse with a lot of people in the country that they are in, since not a lot of people are knowledgeable about their culture.